Hello traders, and very good morning, and welcome to today's live market analysis video by Tradeducation. We are at episode 129, and this is Madhuram. And before I share today's analysis, I would just quickly like to go through a quick disclaimer that trading involves substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Also, the information which I'm sharing is for educational purposes only, and uh, and it cannot be used for any trade related activity. Okay. So quickly, let's look at what happened yesterday and what can be the potential option development paths for today. So let me just share my screen, and what we have here is we are just balancing, balancing around this particular reference zone. So I would say 10 to 40 or 10 to 100. Okay. So 10 to 100 is a very important reference zone, which currently I'm tagging or looking or just observing at that level, because that's where all the visual buyers, a level where buyers are stepping in. So what has happened is, so this was a trend line, and it just broke above the trend line, and so there was a lot of knee-jerk reactions which happened in the yesterday's auction. Okay. So we are still in the bigger range. So let me add the data points of the yesterday's profile, or the yesterday's data. Let me quickly hit refresh, and what we see is we had a good rejection from the balance high. So if you see, this line is this is balance one. This is the first balance, and this is the second balance. Okay. So what you see here is this is the balance high. So if you see, this is the balance high, and that's where we saw a sort of good rejection, and the auction just one time frame down. Okay. So after adding the data points, what I'm seeing is so multiple times this is the level which act as the level of support, where strong demand is present. So again, this is around 10,200 levels. Okay. And we had a good drop, and that's where the auction just stopped, and then the auction just reversed. Okay. So looking at this value area low of this smaller balance, or the second balance, is currently acting as the level of support, and this entire band, so from 10,200 to 10,050, so this 150 points band will act as the level of support. And if it does not act as the level of support, then it means that whoever is buying here, or whoever has bought here, and if the auction goes below this, if it doesn't come back, if it goes again below this, then they will be throwing in the towel, and we might see further continuation to the downside. Okay. So currently we are, one reference is the balance high, second reference is the value area low of the second balance, and 10,200 levels. So also, if I see from the top, there are multiple stops which are built around this level. Okay. So let's look where the market is going to open today, to get some clarity in terms of the data points. Okay. So let me maximize this, and let me bring in the NSE's website and see where the auction is going to open. So flat, so today is 1st of July, so flat opening, so just 20 points away, 21 points away. So let me close this. Okay. So now let me mark the reference zones. So one of the reference zone is the low. Second reference zone is we have a spike here. We also have a spike or an excess here. And yeah, so these are the reference zone. I think I'll also add yesterday's high also. So this is the close, and 20 points up. So 56, 76, 86. Okay, so somewhere around this is the level where I'm seeing the auction will open. So the potential auction development paths which I'm seeing currently is, so first of all, this entire zone is the demand zone. This entire zone is the demand zone. Second thing is, if the auction opens here, Oh yeah, so from the demand zone we also have stacked sellers. So this is where a lot of stops are built. Okay, so the auction is going to open in middle, so around this level, this particular reference level. So what we have here is, so one of the reference level is this. So I'll be seeing some stop hunting activity, tagging the multiple stops, and once the auction comes down or just develops sideways, and then it would come down. Okay, so this is the auction path number one, or the hypothesis number one, which currently I'm getting prepared for. Hypothesis number two or auction path number two is auction opens around here, nothing happens, it tries to go tag the low, and then here again the buyer stepped in, and we are just developing sideways. Okay, so this is the second auction development path. Third auction development path which I'm seeing is we're just balancing in this range. It hits the high, it hits the low, and again it is just balancing sideways. Okay, so these are the three auction development paths which currently I'm observing from today's auction development. Okay, now let me do one thing. Let me hide this and see if there are any HVNs present. Okay. So we had this HVN which got tagged. So there was a nice VWAP rejection, rejection 1, rejection 2, and the third rejection, and a nice downfall. Okay. So now let me maximize this. Okay. So we do not have any HVNs. We have got one HVN at the top and no HVNs at the bottom. That's fine. So this reference level, this is one reference level, this is another, this is the third reference level. Okay. Okay, so these are the three levels where I'll be monitoring the market confidence and take the trades. This is a sort of a LVN level. So yesterday's close, or this is an LVN level. We have a small HVN here. We also have a small HVN here. Okay, that's fine. Now, where this stopped, so this stopped here. This is also a level of support. This is where a lot of buying came in. Okay, so from the VSA chart, I just marked down the references which I'll be monitoring and taking the trades based on the market confidence. Okay, so let me bring back the auction, and the auction will now open in next 8 seconds. So let's see what happens, which auction path plays out. Okay, so the auction is opened, and we are seeing rejection around the POC level. So auction path number 2 is in play. Okay, so auction path number 2. So let me delete this. Let's look at the order flow chart. So it is open within this level and this level. We have a small HVN here. So let's look at the order flow chart. So selling currently delta is negative. Good selling pressure is going on, and rejected at the VWAP from yesterday, which is also the point of control. So odd increases to tag the lows and continue downwards towards this single print zone and this zone. Okay, so let's see whether that happens. Okay, but it looks like selling pressure is phasing out. Let me look at this. So we are still below VWAP. Selling pressure is still phasing out. So this is one demand zone, and we are now backing higher. Okay, not a good sign from the sellers. A good rejection from the POC. That's a good sign. We also tagged the value area low. And if the auction doesn't go below value area low, odds increases to tag this, the POC and the value area high of yesterday's low high. Okay, so value area low is again exactly at the VWAP levels. So let market chop, let it do what it wants to do. So overall only 5,000 contracts has been traded. Okay, so the high has been taken out. So let me remove this reference level. Okay, more upside seen. So auction should now further continue to the upside. Let me remove this. This was the open. So let me remove that reference level. And now some sort of exhaustion is seen. See the delta. Pretty good. Buyer stepped in now. Buyer should hold the fort. So sellers are stepping in. Let it chop. Let it chop. Currently there is no trade location for the moment. And so I'm not yet logged into my trading terminal. Okay, so again, further more upside should see. So we need to see whether we see follow through to the upper side or we see follow through to the downside. Okay, so now if you see the sellers are stepping in, we had a good delta, but still a VWAP, so not a good trade to short. On the dynamic volume profile chart, we need to tag 10 to 90. So let it chop. We need to tag 10 to 90 and we need to reach the balance side. That is 10,326. Okay. So let it chop. Currently there's no trade location and I'm just checking the comments. Okay, so we have comment that how much emphasis do you place on single prints? So yes, I put a lot of emphasis on single prints because it shows heavy rejection or heavy acceptance. Okay, where strong, I would say not smart money, but basically it shows me visually where the auction has rejected and where the auction has rejected. Okay, so this is the reason why this bounce back happens is this can be a liquidity move or this can also be a liquidity move. So this will be a very important zone for me and I'll be observing what happens when the auction reaches again the single print zone. Single print zone also gives me so I use single print as the support and resistance zone. So for today's intraday trades, this is the resistance and this is the support. Okay, so we have opened within that. So for that's why I said there is no trade location. Okay, so that's how I use or put more emphasis on the single prints. Okay. So again, sellers are stepping in. but it will be some choppiness action, sideways movement will be happening. If I study the profile, we have a LBN at this level, so I'll be just monitoring a reference here. Okay. This is again the value area low of yesterday's profile. Okay. So let it go, let it chop. And we are seeing rejection at the VWAP. Again, sellers are trying to step in. We're seeing multiple VWAP touch points. So if you see this, the delta is now shifting. We're just in the choppiness zone. So let it chop. No trade location for the moment. Okay, so I have got one more comment. Which alphabet letter do you find strongest and the weakest? So if you see my market profile chart, I'm just using blocks. I don't track the alphabets. Okay, so I don't put more emphasis on the alphabets. I just look at the blocks, and I have not done any study for the alphabets because I find it a bit boring. I would say not boring, but irrelevant to understand the market profile. Okay. So now we are at the LVN level, and we need to see what happens now. So buyers are coming in, they are protecting or holding the fort. If it doesn't hold, odds increases to tag the lows. Okay, so good selling pressure coming in, really good selling pressure. So we are seeing some sort of rejection at this level. Buyers are stepping in, so I'm just observing. So now we are again going above VWAP. Okay, so rejection is coming in at VWAP. The delta has shifted. I would say divergence. So from the selling pressure is currently getting absorbed. So we need to wait for 3 more minutes to see if the auction tags this bar high or not. Okay, so got one more comment that have you compared a range chart to time based as you are on a 5 minute? Yeah, I did that. So range charts are pretty good. But what happens is I'm more familiar or more comfortable with a 5-minute chart. So earlier I used to use range chart. You can also use order flow chart on range charts. That will give you very good trade entry points. But I'm more comfortable on the 5-minute interval chart. Yeah, so it's based on your preference. I used a range chart in crude oil. So in commodities it works really well. Okay. So good buyers, good buying. So sellers are getting, the selling pressure is getting absorbed. They're having a delta divergence. The volume is again, cumulative volume is again positive. So we're just chopping around. So this is the choppiness action going on. So I have not taken any trades, just because overall market confidence is low. We have opened inside yesterday's range. Okay. So I'm just waiting for the high to get tagged, and that's where some selling pressure will come in. Yes, the high has been tagged. Okay, again the high has been tagged. So more further continuation to the upside is seen. Okay. So one more comment. Can you explain to us what makes it more comfortable on a time based as opposed to? So see, I'm more comfortable with 5 minute because all my analysis. So 5 minute is the intraday time frame which I use. So it is based on your preference. So I don't know. I don't have an answer to what makes comfortable. So your comfort level can be different, my comfort level will be different. So for that you have to first understand what type of trader you are and what time frame suits you the best. Once you identify those two things, then it will be very easy to spot whether the time is better or the range is better. Yeah. So I know some of the traders who trade on two range, 3 range, 10 range, 50 range. So there is no common answer to that. Yeah. Okay, for the more upside, and it looks like the HVN has tagged. So if you see this support zone is still intact, delta is positive. Okay, still no trades for the day. I'll just see if I get a trade today. But this was a good learning experience wherein it looked like it will go below, it will tag the low, but then immediately at the LVN is where the auction or the buyer stepped in and they tagged the highs. Okay. So with that, I'm ending the session for today and would request you to please to like, subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get notified for the upcoming videos. Okay. And if you have any comments, feel free to add in your comments below. And let's again connect tomorrow and see how the auction develops. Yeah. And keep at the reference level, monitor the references which I have shared today and observe the auction development process. Okay. So with that, ending today's session, and let's again connect tomorrow. Okay, take care and bye for now.